Hello, and welcome into another episode of Untold Stories. Or should that be Open Daggerheart Surgery, a new Daggerheart campaign with these wonderful humans, some of which you may recognise from our other campaign. But we're all here to roll some dice, 2d12s, attempt some questionable accents, and hopefully tell a decent story. A couple of announcements up front. Realms of Wonder Kickstarter will be launching next week. So if you're not already following the Kickstarter notification page, it'll be in the description below. So make sure you get notified of that. Similarly, if you are interested in the Reimagined Classes that we use in the primary campaign, you can go pick them up on the DM's Guild as part of a bundle. And if any NPC art appears in this campaign, it is from Erin and Giulini's Art Venturing Guild. Just do support real artists if you can, because AI art sucks. That's the usual spiel. So without further ado, I think we will begin telling our story. In the land known as the Broken Rings of Kogua, the people recover slowly from the Breaking, the cataclysmic event that gave the realm its moniker. Society collapsed as the earth beneath its feet erupted and began floating into the sky. In the centuries since, society has rebuilt slowly and largely formed into one of two ideologies. The industrialists of Babylon, risen at the heart of the continent, seek to rebuild the vast mechanical empires of the before times, repairing ancient infrastructure, reclaiming lost science, and taking society back to its preconceived peak. Meanwhile, the people of the island and the peninsulas have accepted nature, finding harmony with that which is around them and embracing the grace of the wilds, working within nature rather than against it. Amongst it all, we have the crew of the Flying Bat that sail the open waters between the islands and the peninsulas, seeking adventure, gold, and answers from their past. I think now is a good time to just go around the table, have everyone introduce themselves and what their character is. You can keep it to just origin, class, and ancestry for now, and we will introduce them in a little bit. We'll start with Chalice.
Oh, damn. My name's Chalice, and I come from a little glade somewhere out on the, don't know what I went in with this voice.
Are you regretting it
You
immediately?
can always tone it down.
No, I'm in there now.
Questionable accent.
You're just doing the guy from Clarkson's farm who nobody can understand.
I come from a little glade, a little, river basin up north. Beautiful place, touched by the gods, and I was its sacred guardian. Until something terrible happened, and now I roam the world, all 7'9" of me. I'm a truly gigantic man. I'm a turtle giant, whatever you call them, a galappa. I'm a half galappa, half giant, wandering the world with trying to protect those who need protecting, and kill those who need killing. That's pretty much all there is to me, except for my preposterous voice.
Next around the table, Chardonnay.
Hi, my play name is Ellie, but my character is Chardonnay. I am a wonderborn goblin demon who is also a night walker. I was born into demon society, but some sort of demonic heritage was corrupting me, and I came out a little bit broken, and demons don't really like that. I decided they're a very hierarchical society who are very proud of their looks, and because I am lacking in fancy horns or a particularly sharp tail and I've lost an eye, I have taken to unconventional methods in replacing these parts of me, namely from robbing it from people who don't need them anymore, also known as corpses.
Also, they're just corpses.
AKA dead.
And I'm also half goblin, which helps with the whole sneaky, steely part of papering over the cracks. That's me. I'm mostly on the run in my life.
Mostly. Hugh, was there anything else you wanted to add about this?
Yeah, I'm a stalwart guardian and highborn. Well, yeah, the other bits with this system, which I still don't particularly know very well, but
None of us do. That's
None
half
of
the
us
fun
do.
of this.
yeah.
Next up, Herbert.
Yeah, I'm Thomas, and I'm playing Herbie. He's a Ridgeborn goblin sorcerer who sort of left his hometown after burning parts of it down and come to the ship in a hope for a place that doesn't burn down quite so easily.
Well, the wood is wet, so it's definitely harder to burn.
Yeah. He has a bit of magical ancestry and trying to understand where all the lightning powers come from and how to get some more.
I love that and how to get some more part. Next up would be Thalio.
Hi, I'm Bryn. You probably might already know me. I am playing Thalio, as already mentioned. They are a Seaborn Dracona warrior with the Call of the Slayer subclass. That's the word I was looking for.
And last but no means least, I think this is right, but correct my pronunciation, Zorane?
Zarane.
Zarane.
Zarane Respini Folas Eldarin de Serrano Alvum Grisha, to be precise.
Wait, I'm sorry, is there an alcoholic... Is there an alcoholic beverage in there?
Longer name means better. Because I am a highborn primal sorcerer of a... and basically, I am what Demon Society likes. I am... whereas Chardonnay there is the opposite. I am tall and beautiful, and with my little dip into the fairy lineage as well, as an infail, a mixed heritage of an infernal and a fairy. I am a large insectoid, stick-thin creation of horror and moths and spiders.
Well, with all of those introduced, we will jump back into the narrative. The flying bat, the boat on which you all sail as part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew, is pulling into the port of Amberia, towards the southwest of Kogua. The ship has recently borne a few scars due to recent storms and is in need of some repairs, as well as a restock of food, water, and other entertainment. As you are pulling into the harbour, we're going to start straight away with a group skill check to find out what each of you are doing to help pull the ship up to dock.
Oh dear.
So, for those of you who don't know how group skill check works, at least this is how I've interpreted it, because who I am. One person will lead it, so ideally whoever is possibly at the helm, and everyone else, before they roll, will issue what they're doing to help the overall skill check. It can be anything at all, and then depending on your success or failure, it will help or hinder the final skill check, which will determine whether the whole thing was successful or not. So, who would like to go first with what they are doing? Doing?
I will, if that's okay.
Oh, you want to go first? No.
Yeah, I was going to say that Thalio would actually possibly be at the helm.
In that case, you will lead this group skill check.
And I would like to use my sailor experience to help with this.
We will get to you, because I'm going to make you roll the final roll as the person actually at the helm.
Fair enough.
But thank you for being willing to take the lead. I did assume you would be the helm, considering what I know about the character. So, Hugh, because I can
Imagine
rely...
I would be...
Oh, go on,
Oh,
Ellie.
sorry.
No, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, I imagine I'd be scampering about the rigging.
Oh, okay.
Ellie doesn't know much about ships.
That's fair. I don't think many people do.
I'm going to claim they
contrast.
do are liars.
So, I'm imagining you're scampering about the rigging, essentially helping haul in the sails and tighten them up to help with the speed adjustments. That sounds like an agility roll to me. So, do you have... so, first of all, what do you have as your agility modifier?
+1.
+1, cool. And the other thing you can do, bear in mind, everyone, just to remind, you start the session with 2 hope. So make sure you got them marked. Do you have an experience that you think could help in this situation?
I've got grave robbing and fake it till you make it. I don't think either of those are particularly applicable. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with no.
Okay, so
Fake it till you make it. You could be like, yeah, I know how buttons
I know
work.
not.
You pull on the clue. What's that? A cleat? A clunt line? What's it? You know.
A clunt, yes.
I think that's more of a performance-y thing
No, that's fair.
of maybe if I was trying to steer the ship and pretend to be captain.
Cool.
So pull the
we're
way
gonna call
sail.
this-
Yes, I know what that is.
We're going to call this difficulty 12. So roll your hope and fear die, and tell us what you get. And don't forget to add 1.
2d12s.
Well, on the hope I got 3, and on the fear I got 7.
Okay, so that's a failure with fear.
That's 10 overall with fear.
However, I don't, for example, get fear on every roll that happens in a group roll, only on the final result, so it doesn't impact that.
So with a +1, that equals 11 with fear.
Yes,
Just make sure I understand how the dice work.
that is correct. You are scampering about the rigging, trying to pull it in ropes, and at one point there is a sudden gust of wind, and you are pulling on a rope at that point, and the sail takes in full, and you are yanked off, pulled straight up into another crossbeam, where you are tangled up and are currently dangling from one ankle wrapped around in wood, about 20 feet up in the air.
I'll go next as
Or yourself.
my sort of horrible skeletal spidery legs that emerge from my shoulder blades suddenly unfurl into voluminous moth wings as I take flight.
Okay.
And flying above, I just quite simply look down at the ship with the air of, well, that's never going to fit, is it? Turn.
So you're attempting to provide navigation
It's
aid.
like help navigate things.
You're essentially doing flying crow's nest.
Yes.
Can you specify? Are you helping?
I mean, I'm more berating.
The way you've described Saranae up to this point means that you could not be.
Look, it's helping in the sense that I'm belittling Bryn for not bringing this in close. Belittling Thalia for not parking as well as I believe they should be for some high status.
That's fair. In that case,
I don't have an appropriate experience.
that feels like an instinct roll to me. Being perceived.
Yeah, I have a
sensitive.
+2 in instinct.
+2 in instinct. With you flying, I'll make that a DC 11 for this roll.
That is, well, it's 13 with fear.
13 with fear. Well, the fear doesn't matter right now, so we're good there. So that is a success. Thalio, you can hear the loud, commanding, pretentious voice of Zaranae over the air, directing you towards the dock.
You're too close to the left. I mean, have you never sailed before?
I will shoot you out of the sky.
You'll try, I'm sure.
That's one success, one failure. Who is doing what next? Who else is around the boat?
I'll go. I'm going to be preparing us to actually dock, putting out fenders and securing docking lines and everything. And when it comes up to it, I am going to I'm probably depending on how this goes, might need to throw out a couple and use my huge strength, just pull us in.
For now, I say this is a finesse roll.
Without not strength.
Strength
Not
will
yet.
come into if Thalio's roll is bad, where
Okay,
you might be
yeah,
able to
fair
mitigate
enough.
some things. So finesse now, just to get stuff out. This is fairly straightforward. You've done this a lot of times. This is a DC 10.
Okay. Well, I got a 20 with hope.
I'll do. As you just practiced form, just haul up a bunch of docking ropes and what's the word I'm looking for?
Fenders.
Fenders, thank you. And just completely align up the side of the boat. or the ship.
And I sort of look up and see my goblin companion, like, you know, like, how did you even get tied up in that? It doesn't do that.
And last but no means least, Herbie.
Herbie's going to rub his hands together, create some static electricity to use his wall walk to then climb up and down the rope to try and help Chardonnay back onto slightly more solid ground.
Fair enough. Is there a roll associated with wall walk, or does it just happen?
I have to spend a hope to do
so you just spend a hope. And let's call it a finesse roll to try and untangle Chardonnay. We'll call it DC 12. They're fairly well tangled.
A 6 on the hope and a 12 on the fear.
Ooh. So this is a success.
So 19 with fear.
19 with fear. Well, that does mean that you successfully just like start climbing up with like static electricity clinging you to the mast. Until you get to the ropes and manage to successfully unwind the devilish goblin that needed some aid. There's an interesting Venn diagram here of devil, fairy, goblin, devil, goblin. Anyway. And so you two are now back on the mast helping out with the rigging as Thalia begins to bring it into dock. Thalia, what's it like with you at the helm?
I'm kind of listening to all of the calls that are happening, with there being a man up at the bow, a man at the stern, busy yelling to drop certain sails, to just use the jib and to try and depower the boat as much as possible. I'm spinning the tiller or the wheel, whichever one we use it, in my hand to try and, probably a wheel is cooler, to kind of act as a brake, so kind of like doing slightly big S's as we're coming in to bleed off any speed that we've got.
You can tell someone spends a lot of time around boats. I love it.
And then as we come in, you kind of see the boat go into a slow skid as it comes in, with the aim of it stopping perfectly. So I go into this slide, I yell for them to loose the sheets so that all the sails are flapping, so that there's no power now, and the aim is to just slide in and just stop right on the dock.
Okay. As you're doing this, the actual captain of the ship, a muscle-bound dwarf by the name of Nandin Peripal, who has been the captain of this vessel for many years at this point, is directing people around the ship to prepare for you bringing it in, trusting you perfectly at the helm to handle that, while he just makes sure everything else is in place. I think it's a finesse roll to control the ship in.
I wasn't sure if it would be an instinct with navigating it in.
I can see that. I'm okay with that.
Cool.
So you have an additional +2 to this because 3 of your crewmates succeeded, 1 failed, so that comes +2.
Okay, I've got a +1 on my instinct naturally.
That's +2.
And then I'm also going to use my experience as a sailor, because why wouldn't I, to add a +2 to this as well. So this is a +5.
Okay, it's currently decent sailing weather, but I mean, docking a ship this large is always a little tricky. So we're going to call this a DC 15.
That's fair. First roll of the new dice. That is, on the dice, a 15 with hope.
15
so
hope.
+5.
Oh, sweet.
Equals 20. Dice is 15.
Great roll. Yes, so what does it look like as, with a 20 and a strong success, the ship comes into dock?
Literally just so as it gets close in with the sails flapping and the call for them to start to kind of put them away and drop them, you just see the boat slide in and just perfectly kiss the side of the dock, enough for the ropes the lines to be thrown across, and the people who would be there ready to tie us on literally don't have to stress or anything. It's pretty much perfect.
I think Chalice is there almost disappointed that he doesn't get to do anything.
No big smash.
Chuck the lines out anyway, and that was it.
You still help out the dock workers perfectly fine.
I yell up at Zorane. What were you saying? Boo-froo face?
I suppose that wasn't terrible.
As you all finish tying up and step off the flying bat onto the docks in Amberia, sorry. I suppose now is a decent enough moment for, as each of you step off the ship, to give a full description of what your characters look like. So as you step off the docks in a dramatic beginning of a series way, what do each of you look like? We'll go the other way round this time, as Zarane, in dramatic and entitled fashion, lands on the dock first.
If you've ever seen the film Ratatouille, the character of Anton Ego, the food critic, sort of long, spindly, slightly hunched at all times.
You thought he was going to go with the rats, didn't
I
you?
was so confused!
Long,
So at least
arms, but then,
70%
like, solid body.
Yes. So at least 70% leg on the body. So sort of bent over with a great sort of mane of... While the rest of their sort of skin and carapace is a glossy black, the hair is the sort of mane and fur, somewhere between a hair and fur, is a sort of bright neonish blue that changes slightly under various lighting. They have the usual sort of eyes where you'd expect a humanoid's eyes to be, but then crowning the top of those are another 3 glossy, more arachnid-style eyes above. 2 sort of feathered antenna sprout
Compound.
as well. And around the chin are sort of 2 little pincery kind of little Snickers,
Snickers. It's 2 chocolate bars.
Yes.
That's the official terminology.
That's
I
the
think
official terminology.
bef-
It's science-based, I checked.
Before the breaking, they were called marathons, but society changed.
Yes. But yes, their body is a sort of rough... well, not rough. It's extremely well-kept and polished carapace. With a very glossy sort of colour to it. And currently...
I see myself in that thing.
Sort of 2 large lunar moth-style wings, which, as he lands, sort of in an uncomfortable-to-look-at sort of fashion, fold back into themselves into 2 large spidery legs that then curl back around his torso.
To be fair, I think Gethin thought that Andrew was about to just say, yes, the back of his head opens up and a tiny little moth appears, controlling the bigger moth.
Yes, the little moth that you know, powers me and guides me.
We all have one.
Wonderful. Upon Zarane landing on the deck, Thalio strides off the boat. What does Thalio look like, Bryn?
What's the weather?
I tell you what, roll me a straight luck check.
What dice is that?
Roll me the 2d12 and tell me what you roll.
11 with hope.
11 with hope. It is a decent day. There is a fair portion of cloud cover and a stiff wind, but not a strong wind.
So, Thalio strides off the boat. Because of the weather, he is slightly more muted than usual, with predominantly silver scales, with edges of gold on the very edges of some of those scales, and on his horns and bearded bit. And also he has veins of gold running down and across his body. His eyes are quite a bright blue, very similar to the Caribbean, Hawaiian seas, if you see them, to use our world. And then for his clothing, he is sleeveless, and wears pale blue leather armor with gold trim on it, a long bow on his back, and a short sword following the same route.
Wonderful. Herbie.
Herbie, I mean, I guess like Zaranade is fairly lanky, but I mean, that's where the similarities end. A sort of seaweed green goblin with long black dreadlocks that seem to have been tangled up in the past with a fishing net that he hasn't got rid of yet. And some fairly drab brown leathers that have been got a bit more colour here and there that look to be covering sort of electrical burn marks.
Chardonnay in your grave robbing form.
So, Chardonnay, being part goblin, is sort of in the realms of creepy cute, where there's really big eyes, big ears, but also is a little unsettling. She wears a great big floppy witch hat and is sort of covered in a lot of accessories, which she uses to hide all of the little straps she uses to keep on her fake horns and that sort of thing. She's got a couple earrings. She has a long, colourful coat, and I think she carries a rapier. Yes, a rapier.
And
She's got little fangs.
little fangs.
Insane.
There's someone with giant teeth. Little fangs are adorable. Massive teeth. Anyway.
My teeth are on the outside.
Speaking of massive, hulking off the ship as they step off the ramp, the boat tips and rises a foot.
Chalice the chosen by what or who you do not know. He is as I said before, a 7'9" monster of a alligator snapping turtle galapper. So he's got that sort of like serrate, almost like serrated, like hanging over like his top, like almost like the beak on his mouth, jaw, with this like huge sort of scaly, spiky shell covering much of his back, and like much of it also on the same on his front. He is wearing sort of rough leathers and and furs and everything in the classic adventurous style, with on his sort of less armored arms and legs, chainmail sort of covering over them, and over like the over his chest to sort of cover over the like areas down the sides of him. He's this sort of everything sort of vaguely covered in sort of mosses and lichens, or seaweed and algae, as we come out of the sea. Sort of dark black eyes, just sort of staring out, like turning just very, very carefully, very quietly. I got something wrong. He's not highborn. That was another thing. He's wildborn, which means that he's also frighteningly quiet. To move to like. You don't really hear him walking, even though he does you sort of listen out for it suddenly. With a large hand axe and sort of this vaguely elven style and a round shield. Everything sort of dull greens and browns of colour. In the sort of, if you look at him in a forest and you sort of turn away and then look back, it's like,
Very
like, that's not a rock.
And the last member of your little cohort that are relatively comfortable with each other on the flying back. There's a few other crew members to manage such a large ship. Marble has taken up station on the prow of the ship, acting as a little figurehead, promising that they are going to protect the ship while they're in port, while you go away and do other things. We will certainly see Marble in future adventures. But as you step off, your captain, Nandin Peripal, as I said, muscles like absolutely wound rope, and his salt-encrusted beard being as thick as like steel wool, walks up to you now the boat is docked. Okay then. Well, we're going to be here a day or two, according to the dockmaster, so best make use of it. See if you can find any work around town for us, yeah? Anything need hauling elsewhere in the rings, people needing transport, messages to be delivered, whatever. But take anything for some gold, yeah?
Sure
Oops,
thing,
he referred
Captain.
this to.
Jordan.
All right, let's go find some work.
There seems to be some sort of confusion there. That's what I have all of you for.
Oh, sorry, Zarni. Work is where you do a service and you're paid for it.
I am aware of the concept. It's what I have you people for.
You just, fundamentally opposed to the idea.
No, I'm just better than that.
I beg to differ. Anyway, to the notice board, which is presumably here in town, that we'll find all of the notes on.
Speaking of
Tell me,
which,
Chalice, can you read?
Of course I can read.
notice
I
boards.
can read the trees and the forest and the...
Yes, how about words?
Them things that you say to each other, sure.
Yes, those.
He's
See,
dumb. Oh, he is dumb. Yeah, no, he's dumb.
valuable companion for me.
I have to check. No, he's not dumb. That's presence. He's not great at talking to people because he's a bit brusque, but, he understands the concept of reading. He just doesn't, he doesn't agree with it.
You don't.
Why would I need to
agree
write
with
something
reading.
down I never forget?
Right.
If I forget it, it wasn't important anyway.
Reading that thing with taxes, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Reading's that thing with taxes, right? You add them together?
I've never heard of this thing.
Well, I mean, I usually have people to deal with the whole tax situation for me, but I
Taxes. I don't know what to say. Let's go.
Taxes and canon. What is canon?
Yes, it's the thing that you poor people pay, and that I have people to sort out for me.
Sort out to put it on an offshore fund. There's a lot of
Yes.
offshores around here.
It's basically all offshore. It's a fucking dream.
There's a number of just treasure islands left around where rich people have put their wealth offshore.
Chalice actually runs an offshore bank in his town. This is why he doesn't know what taxes are.
It's also not an actual building. It is just he owns a beach and he's basically.
Yeah,
It's just-
he's a willing man with a shovel.
Thank you.
Yes. The bank is very much he just digs holes.
Notice boards. Interesting fact about notice boards, and the irony of the fact that I came up with this last night, and you've already brought up notice boards, it's not lost on me. Notice boards are actually a board in the town, not a vertical one, a horizontal one, where notice birds take roost, feed up, and chill. And notice birds are actually fairly common in this area of Kogua. They're not necessarily common everywhere, but in the southwestern portion. They are incredible mimicry birds, and so they are essentially used as messenger birds, where someone will tell them a thing to repeat, they'll fly to another town and just repeat the message upon being given a little snack. So it's a great way to find pieces of work or just to relay messages across large distances.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I genuinely
Absolute
came up with that.
nightmare.
I like to think you pull on the leg and the mouth opens and a pre-played message plays.
Aha!
Yes, they were never particularly good at keeping the secrets that you wanted to give them. So
No,
if
that was
anybody
their-
just happens to have a bit of seed,
that's what they were originally developed for. Was like, we can. Oh yes, we can relay messages secretly. And it's like, no, you just pay them with seeds.
yes, my family made out quite well out of that particular discovery. They are incredibly easy to bribe.
What are you looking
Let's
for?
find the notice bird.
Head into the notice board. You head into town. Town's fairly busy. Looks like this place is pretty well populated. It's nothing fancy. Kind of your standard fantasy dwellings. A wide street runs down the centre of the town. A couple of windmills out into the distance on top of a small hill that are catching the last breezes that you use to sail in. Couple of saloon bars here and there. And in the centre of town, right next to a small but well-crafted water fountain that seems to make use of the waves that ride up across the shore to function, is a large kind of wooden board held up on 4 poles, where about half a dozen different birds are sitting on top of it. Tell you what, Hugh, since you brought up notice boards first, what do notice birds look like?
I like to think this is actually a large board because they are albatrosses, because they might be traveling for a long time to get from where they need to go, and so they can rest, they can sleep on the wing and whatnot, and then there's each bird is just this massive thing and it's like you have to feed it carefully, otherwise it'll kind of
take a finger.
But yeah,
money.
big white and grey birds, which people. It also means that people are less likely to just fuck
with them.
fuck with them.
Yeah, sure. You approach this thing. I was about to say roll me an animal handling check, but that's not the game.
Presence?
Let's go with presence.
Oh, good.
They are meant to be approached, so the DC's not hard. So we'll call it a DC 11.
It's fine, you're essentially a boulder.
That's a 4 with hope.
With hope. That's not fair.
You minus any minuses or add any pluses to the total, not
Yes.
to any particular die, correct? Good. Yes, that's a 4. I walk up to this bird and just and I try to feed it I don't know, a whole sandwich with my hand still
A massive wing just comes and just snaps at you.
It's not a sandwich, it's a loaf of bread. Just
I'm gonna say
this is what I eat.
Take a stress from having to not get your elbow hyperextended as this wing slaps you.
Jesus. Well, I don't fuck with birds. They eat turtles.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
A human verging on old.
That's how my cousin died, actually. Sorry to interrupt you, Game Master. Yeah, giant bird swept out of nowhere, picked him up, couldn't get through the shell, so just flew up a mile and dropped him.
You've suddenly gone American on the accent.
I was American to begin with, but I've gone sort of. I have.
You've gone very much
sort of
attempt questionable accents.
I think I kind of started around Texas, and now I've kind of a bit of a walk and tour of the South.
End up in
floating down the river,
Louisiana.
Float
Investigate
down
a murder
that's what he's
down
doing.
there, and then head up.
Well, Dutch.
Red Dead.
I have a plan, John.
I said the word saloon, and he went Red Dead. I love this game already.
I literally didn't know what voice was going to come out of my face the moment I started speaking. It just did.
If it makes you feel any better, same.
You didn't know what voice was going to come out of his face either. I'm not surprised.
Elderly Qatari woman, kind of Black Panther-esque, but amount of grey tips on the fur, wanders past with a basket on her hips, going, "Yeah, that one's a bastard, all right."
I can't blame it on them. I'm trying to feed them a whole baguette.
I mean, if you've got the bread going spare, I'll happily take it off your hands, but...
Nope, it's halfway down a bird now.
Well, welcome to the town.
Heck yes. I rip off the other half. Here you go.
Thank you. Were you looking for anything in particular?
This fool doesn't know how to talk to a bird, that's all.
Oh, well, not many people do, I tend to find.
Don't say that like that's a normal thing.
They tend to
Surely
prefer...
it is, they're messengers.
They tend to prefer...
Yeah, but you don't It's not a conversation.
No, that is very true, but they do tend to prefer your kind of fish than your grain materials, I would say.
Oh, I'm thinking of pigeons again.
Anyway.
Just because it's bird-shaped doesn't mean it's the same type of bird.
If you're looking for a drink and some food, try out the Dead Horn down the road. If you're looking for anywhere to stay, you can try the inn. It's literally just called the inn. Yeah.
Bad marketing.
Yes.
Well, there's not really another one in town, so don't really need a better name.
Thank you, I suppose.
Welcome to Amberia. If you're looking for work, I'm sure the other birds might be more accommodating to you.
Yes. Herbie,
Yes, boss?
Herbie, do come here. Now that fishing net that's trapped in your... I'm going to put a head.
Yes.
I don't suppose you caught
After you throw me off the side, yes.
Yes, did you catch any fish like you were meant to?
Not last time.
Fuck, you got me to break. Let's try that again, shall we? Let's pick up Herbie and throw him in the water.
Sure. I mean, the word lift
lightning
is in
goblin.
strength, so...
Yeah.
There we go. I've got a +1.
Ooh.
Ah, you're strangely strong.
I'm horrifyingly strong, is the way to put it.
You got too many arms.
That's a 11 with hope.
11 with hope. You lot... Even in the demo adventure, you guys refused to roll fear.
I rolled fear once already.
I failed.
That's
With
true.
hope.
Yeah, okay, you just drag him over to the dockside. Do you tie a rope around his ankle?
No, you can swim, probably.
Just, not a very
Do I
tight...
look like somebody who ties ropes?
It's not a tight spiral. You get decent distance on it, but it's not the, most graceful throw in the world. As there's a... as the goblin lands in the water.
Don't come up till you find a fish.
I mean, I think at this point Herbie has sort of stopped resisting and is trying to make sure he lands not in a place that there's rocks.
Herbert, use them
not looking to see if
powers
they'll
of
Make me an
yours.
agility check.
I was not looking to see if there were rocks. That is very worthwhile to do.
24 with fear.
Oh, we got a fear.
Oh?
Uh,
Herbert, emulate the greatest of creatures, the electric eel.
you tell me how this goes, Tom, with a 24.
He's going to be an electric eel.
I mean, it's less of Zarane pushing him and more just like he's got used to just diving very nice naturally.
As you hit the water, there is a small static discharge, and 3 fish just immediately float to the top.
Oh, he
But
did
you
it.
dive down further, and you come across what is clearly something the size of a tuna fish that's got stuck in the harbour behind the sandbank and can't actually get over the ridge again. It's a fish that belongs far deeper in the sea that shouldn't be here. That is straight in front of you, and it turns round to face you and just bears rather large fangs, and you're face to face with a fish that's at least the size of you.
Oh yes, the fabled vampire trout.
Vampire trout.
Sure. Can I try and unleash chaos on this and try and zap it as I make a hasty retreat back to the surface?
Absolutely. I'm assuming that's a spellcasting roll.
I can make a spellcast roll against a target within far range and spend. I'll just spend.
Cool.
a
What's the
token.
target of a vampire trout? Let's call it a 9. I don't know. Homebrewing a monster right off the bat.
That's a fail. That's 8 with hope.
At least it's on. You unleash a burst of lightning energy that arcs through the water towards it, lighting up its scales along the side, which are red tinged, that give it part of its name. And it dodges out the way and just reacts by swimming straight up towards you. I guess.
Can we
and
see any of this? Is this in the shallows?
This is about 5 feet deep in the water. But what happens is it
Not quite
swims
a fathom,
straight.
as it
Flashes
turns out.
and shadows.
Yeah.
No, it
This is less
swims.
than a fathom deep.
It swims straight up towards you. I'm gonna make it roll a check of some kind. That's a nat 1. Okay, what happens is it instinctively like rushes towards you, and in the chaos, it slams into you where you're like buffeted in the water. You lose like a moment of air. You realize you probably need to surface, and it just speed runs. It basically takes the jolt of lightning and tries to speed run the sandbank that has been trapping it in here. Unfortunately, it rolls a 1, and it beaches itself with a sandbank, and you like just see half a fish reach out to the water.
Oh, good, he's working.
I'll go in and get it.
Sure, make me a strength check. Meanwhile, Chardonnay and Thalia, what did you
That's a 12 with hope.
12 with hope. It's a beached fish.
Yeah.
I don't suppose
beach
while this
fish.
is happening, I can just put a hand on Chardonnay's shoulder. Now, Chardonnay, dear, when they come back with that fish, surely you'd love to use your charming appearance to feed one of those birds, now wouldn't you?
I could try.
Excellent.
I
I'm just hoping to stab it with my rapier. Kill the fish. Not the bird.
Your horns are
Right.
looking lovely today, aren't they?
It's like told to feed the bird. Feed it my rapier.
Your horns are looking lovely today
You
as
just
well, I
walk,
must
you just
say.
walk past, stab the fish that's just being held by a giant. That's easy. It's a held fish. Fish just goes limp.
Your horns are looking lovely today, almost like they're your own.
Thanks.
That's me.
Nonetheless. I hack off a bit of fish. And I feel like it's fairly easy to feed the bird. Do I need to roll for it?
No,
or
you're
is
fine.
he just... Okay.
You've got the right food.
You are quite small, and it's quite a large bird.
It's not intimidated by you, by the way. So this way, like it's not a giant thing trying to force feed it bread. It's a small thing trying to give it something it wants. So it's fine.
Can I just, while this has all been going on, just reach into like my belt where I've got like pockets and just pull out some dried fish jerky and just start chewing it while they spent all of this time? Because I'm a sailor, I would have known about these things in the first place, so I feel like I'd have had some jerky or something that you normally give to one of the birds.
Yep.
So I'm just going to eat the jerky that I would have given to the bird.
Meanwhile, the bird hungrily takes this bit of fish from you, Chardonnay, and just turns and just in a wonderful mimicry of a disturbingly humanoid voice coming out of a bird. Just goes, temple found in the mountains, looking for people to investigate. Near the town of Iterica.
Iterica? Anyone know Iterica?
Yeah, probably.
Do any of us know Iterica?
Chardonnay, you can roll me an instinct or knowledge, your choice.
I will go with instinct. I have a -1 to knowledge. Yeah. So,
Great noise.
which
This is how we fill up Gethin's
Spearometer.
feeling, by doing a bunch of completely pointless checks that get us nothing anyway.
I do believe that is a 4 with fear.
You have never heard of this place. At all. Definitely doesn't exist. At that point, immediately the bird takes flight, knocking you down to the floor. You take stress. And the bird just takes off, never to repeat its message to any of you.
Oh no.
And with it, all of the other ones take off briefly as well. They might come back, but all of the birds have left for now.
Now, Chardonnay, when I said you should feed one of the birds, it was with the intention of getting us a job of some sort for you little people to continue. Not
I'll
to
get the job.
scare off all the birds.
There'll be graves to rob. There's bound to be money in graves.
How did you scare off all the birds with a large fish that they all wanted to eat? It's astounding. You
I
literally
didn't see you
what
try
they
it.
wanted. I got the fish.
No, No, you didn't.
I indicate you did not get the fish.
You did fucking.
I entirely
nothing.
did. It's the fishing rod that gets the fish, is it? That's how it works.
Herbie, are you still ambling about the harbour, just backstroking?
He's swimming around trying to find all the fish that have now just lying limply on the
I mean,
surface.
the discharges have missed. Find like 7 other fish all floated to the top. Let's put it this way: your restock of food for the ship has got off to a good start.
Like, when you go fishing, you don't say that it's the rod and the net that caught the fish, no?
Yeah, normally the net isn't fucking sapient.
Yeah, but a lightning rod works very well.
Maybe you're using a poor net. Maybe you're just using a poor person's net, I suppose.
You know, I
What
think
kind of
that
rods do
if
you
I
have?
was
What
using,
kind of nets are not sapient?
I think if I was
I'll
using,
catch up, Mum.
I think if I was using a sapient rod or a sapient net, I probably would say that it was it that did the fishing.
And
Yeah,
that's why you rob graves, rather than being in society.
it does that for fun.
So flawlessly.
The hell?
Oh, so sounds like you're just a bit jealous there, Ernie.
What have I got to be jealous of? I got the fish.
Ah, you didn't. Anyway,
the Qatari woman walks back past and just like, Dead Horn Saloon. Talk to the bartender. Just carried on with her day. Exasperated by these new arrivals.
We've arrived. We've scared off all the birds.
This is the 6th time she's seen this today.
Killed half of the fish in the harbour.
Overfishing is a real problem.
Only when you
every single party that arrives go like, right, time to kill a bunch of fish. There's probably a little stand
This one's really-
next to the the board, like where people are like selling stuff. Bird
Selling
treat.
fish, please stop.
A little like free feeding thing, but none of us noticed that and went, time to
Fish.
ruin these fisheries.
Well, to be fair to us, we didn't look.
I saw a problem and I fixed it. I don't know why you're all complaining.
Herbie's going to go up to each of the bird boxes and put in a small fish in each of them before coming up to Zarane and trying to like organize the rest of them and offering up the largest one that he's found. Your catch, sir.
Thank you. Well,
Ah, yes, the famously what moths eat, fish.
I'm also pub demon, you know.
Don't forget about the half parts.
Oh, so you eat the soul and then the fish comes out in like a
I just bring it out. It's just a withered skeleton.
it's the same. It's just there's something less about it.
It's the shimmer's gone. It's the anime, like the sparkle has
Yeah.
gone from the eye.
It just goes in. It comes out grayscale.
Oh.
Okay, it's now just a fish. It has no.
Anyway,
Yeah.
What?
anything else you want to try and find in town?
The pub.
The pub.
A pub.
You head
Let's
down.
go find a quest.
You head down to the Dead Horn Saloon. It
I
is
walk along wondering what Zarane tastes like.
at this time of day. The saloon is not busy. It's kind of late morning at this point, but there's a few patrons around. Behind the bar is a very tall, what's about the same height as, slightly shorter than Chalice, but more live in form. Fawn, with kind of very soft, like deer ears, just kind of lazily hanging down towards their shoulders, washing up a bunch of the canteens.
Tankards.
Thank you. Tankards from the night before, and basically just stacking them on the bar, ready for when patrons come in.
Greetings. I shall do the talking as the one with the -1 of presents. We're here looking for some work.
New in town, eh?
No, I've been here for years. No, yes.
We get plenty of you. Have you checked the notice board?
Yes, one of the birds gave us a message and then they all flew off.
Ah,
Darndest thing.
unfortunate. Well, I suppose I've got some stuff that needs shipping out. Don't suppose you're heading up the way of Tongaria, are you?
I have no idea.
Can do.
I'll
Sure
take
thing.
can do. Yeah, I got a shipment. People want some of the berry wine. Got 6 crates.
Is it in the direction of where is it we're going? I imagine Chardonnay is on on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Where is it we're going?
I whisper where it is we're going.
I mean, it's up to you, but to be honest, you're just a sailing ship. You don't have a destination.
We are staying around here for a while.
2 days.
We're staying around here a while.
2 days, okay. Well, I don't have much for you to do since, but I'll tell you what. I'm sure the birds will come back. Why don't you stay here and have a drink in the meantime? You can try the berry wine you're going to ship.
What'd you say? We tried the berry wine. We're gonna ship.
Well, I've got other berry wine, obviously. I'll make it out back.
We're gonna ship.
Yeah,
Sorry, I misheard you.
Try the merchandise, as it were.
I've got algae in my ears.
That sounds uncomfortable.
Sure thing. Let's try the berry wine.
Grab yourself a table. Goes up back.
He goes over and picks up a table.
No, sit down next to the table, you fucking ingrate.
Sits down on the floor next to the table. Comes up to
It's
head
close
height.
Close enough.
I look at the chairs and think,
After a short while, the fawn comes back with a small cask. It looks like an ale cask. Taps it and starts pouring out this thick red berry wine. It's got quite a sharp smell as it comes out, but it does also look quite fresh.
well, hell. I'll try that. Well,
fellas.
Yeah, it's think cranberry wine, and you're not far off. Like, it is sharp, but
astringent,
not bitter.
some would say.
Yes. It's just from drinking it, you can tell that the bush these berries are picked from is a thorn bush. Like,
It has the
somehow
quality of thorn.
that's translated.
This
And
does not grow on something normal.
It does. It's an acquired taste, but you can understand why some people would like it.
Yeah. It's growing on me, actually.
Oh, you're welcome
Is
to
this
more.
the kind of thing I've had before?
I know, is it?
I would say yes. That's where this is being shipped.
Okay.
And I'm frankly astounded that it's being served here.
This is where it's made.
Yes,
You do know how growing things works, don't you?
Yes,
they
I
don't
just don't
grow
think
in
they've sold
fancy
it to you
cities
lot.
and shit.
Yes.
Again, they make it here. Why do you think they wouldn't also sell it here?
Because they can make money by selling it to us.
Yeah, but
You
they
can make money by selling
by
it
selling
here.
it to people as
I
well.
mean, probably less, let's be
At
honest.
this point, I'm going to use one of the fear to make it
Oh
happen.
god.
GM action. Smash cut.
Shelley suffers an aneurysm and wakes up in the hospital.
It was all
Jesus.
a dream.
No, you suddenly hear shouts from outside. Someone screaming for help.
I hear shouts from outside.
You come out to, assuming you head out, you come out to see a fungal woman, this kind of mushroom-like person, in hard-wearing, like, denim overalls. Screaming, "Someone's attacking the solar farm! Someone please come out, they're stealing the crystals!" And she's cut up. You can see what, like, accounts for blood from fungrels, just, like, staining the overalls, and she's, like, holding a limp, as she's run here.
All right, ma'am, you stay here. We'll sort this out.
I haven't even waited for you to finish, and I'm already out the door.
Oh, jeez.
I have barely moved.
Faraday will probably be paid for it.
Fine.
You go running through the town in the direction that they've pointed. A few people seem to be panicked, trying to figure out what to do. You lot who are adventurers by name, have experienced this kind of dramatic need to start running and head straight over there, weapons drawn, at which point you come to near where the wind farms are, and you come to a large field of low-lying ferns, in between which is stationed a number of small hubs that seem to have almost like a dog cone but made of mirrors, placed on top of small hubs, where underneath a couple of which you can see gently rotating pale yellow crystals. Though many of you would know these from your sailing to be solar crystals, they are essentially batteries that get charged up by solar light to be then used in the evenings for cooking and for anything else. What more you can actually see, though, is you can see a couple of dozen people in cracked, worn leathers and cloaks attending to each of these things and essentially breaking them to stop the crystals spinning and then start taking the crystals out. And we are going to jump to the action tracker as we will jump right in with what do you want to do.
Well, I can't remember how combat works.
Anyone can go, do anything they want. If you have to roll for it, you have to roll for it. So, let's break this down. When you take an action, it gets added to the action tracker. If you roll with fear or failure, I can interrupt. I don't have to interrupt. And I can act with as many action tokens as are currently on the board.
I think my first instinct in seeing that there are people would be to shout, "You there! Stop right there! Hold up!"
Roll me the equivalent of intimidation. We'll make it strength because I think your physical presence rather than presence.
Ooh. Which case, that's a 20 with hope.
20 with hope. They seem to spring up, aware that they've been kind of accosted, and they see that there's quite a number of you compared to what they had previously attacked were basically just farmers. And immediately you see one of them, who appears to be slightly better equipped than the rest, just points to a bunch of them and say, "You lot, delay them!" And they just, the majority of them turn and start running away with what they've got. With that roll, you are conscious that you've essentially saved probably about half the crystals because they haven't had the chance to start getting any more. So you've done great and thinned the herd.
I see one of them that he shouts, like, "Delay them out," and they like look up, see them. Nah, sorry, boss.
So at this point, at about a far distance from you, are 7 figures who have stayed behind. 5 of which just appear to draw kind of broad short swords. Nothing special. Another 2 draw out javelins.
I will have already drawn my longbow, and I'm going to take a shot at one of the people who are running away with some of the crystals.
Oh yeah, certainly. What's the range on a longbow?
Very far.
Yeah, definitely within range. You can go for that.
15 with hope.
15 with hope. Yes. Feel free to roll the damage.
Okay. It is 1d6, 4 plus 4, so a total of 8.
This arrow goes flying through the air, and you see it thuds into the back of one of them, and he spills this crystal. These crystals are about yay big, like a loaf of bread that you would grab from like a supermarket bakery. And
try not to kill him.
He just goes sprawling out, doesn't get back up, and the crystal bounces off into the ferns. You can see they're heading towards a small copse of woods that runs along the coastline further north.
Well, I will have kept moving closer as well. And I'm probably going to yell, "They're heading for the woods. I suspect they've got a boat."
Telis thinks about the presence of boats in woods and is a bit confused.
I'm going to use one of my other fear. I had 2 left, if I can keep count properly, to interrupt, and the 2 with javelins are going to throw them at, well, yeah, one with you with the bow, Thalio, and at, honestly, the scary demon bug, 2 of Oliver. So Bryn, that is...
Well, if you will go around looking like that.
That is a 13 against your evasion.
Annoyingly hits. I have awful evasion.
That is 5 points of
Same.
physical damage, as they've had to, because you've run closer. Their javelin can reach you. Actually, that's a good point. You haven't moved closer yet. Chalice, did you move closer?
I feel like I was at the head of the pack.
In that case, the second javelin will actually come.
And
to
I did
you.
sort of, come forward and go like, "You there, stop."
Yeah. So the second one will come to you instead, because javelins only have a shorter range. That is an 11 to hit you.
By far hits. I'm not very good at evading.
And 5 physical damage to you.
God damn it. That's 1 over my my minor health thing. So I suppose I'll. How do you regain? Like, if you gain
rests.
stress, how do you get rid of it?
Short
Is it
rests
just
and long rests. It's one of the things you can do on a rest.
Yeah.
You get stressed if you get it hit or if you take damage.
No.
Yeah.
So if you reduce,
You can't spend hope to reduce stress.
No, but you can. No, but don't forget you can spend an armor slot.
Yeah, it's my thing if I can spend stress in place of armor slots. But I have no reason to at the moment, so I guess I'll just reduce that by 8.
Cool. So you just take no damage.
I'm going to take it on my armor as well.
You've taken it on your armor. I'm just checking one thing, because it used to be you took a stress if you got it below, but I think they got rid of it. Yes, no HP. You're fine. That is 2 actions that you had used. Gone. Who's up next? As these javelins come flying through the air and thud into the
the
two
other thing is,
compatriots.
I suppose Chardonnay is also at this range, being on my shoulder.
That's a good point. You are the larger target, though.
Yeah.
So the javelin thuds into you.
Yeah, because of that. Oh, sorry, did you?
No, go on.
Well, I don't want to be having javelins thrown at me. 2, very upset that they have just attacked my huge galumphing friend here. And I am. How far away would you say the closest is? And also, how do I know how far I could go?
So you can move essentially equivalent of a close distance to anything that was close to you. The one who threw a javelin at Chalice then immediately moved back away towards a far distance. So at the minute they're both far, but the ones who've got short swords would be within movable distance of you.
Right, let's go and attack them.
I think this little thing just detaches itself from me into the long grass and just
Yeah, but these ferns are
they're in the
ankle
grass!
height
They're
to
in the
you.
grass! Ah!
Well, I guess an ally is not in melee with my target.
Nope, not yet.
Oh man. Okay. I don't think I get much in the way of bonuses, so I may as well just attack straight on. That's an 11 with fear.
With fear. I will keep that in the bank for now rather than interrupt. But an 11 does hit.
Hey. Alright. And my damage dice I've got, it's a D8. Is it just D8 or is it plus anything?
I think it's
The
just
weapon
D8.
will say.
Yeah, it would say if it added anything else. So I think it's just straight D8 for you.
I just wrote down D8, so
What's
If
your
it's a
weapon?
rapier, it's a D8.
Yeah, cool. Thank
Okay.
you.
3.
3 points of damage. You run up, and from hidden beneath the ferns, you strike up and just strike into this guy's groin, and there's just a burst of blood, and just collapses, and just he's holding his groin, trying to stem the bleeding. You can see that's a fatal wound. That's a femoral artery gun.
Come on, guys, try and keep him alive! For crying out loud!
Hubby, you were gonna go.
Yeah, I was questioning how far the other guys running away were.
So if you moved, you would get them within far, but they're very far at the point they're running away.
I'll do that following up on Thalia, and firing a hand crossbow at them.
Man, hand crossbow's got range.
I mean, it's a crossbow.
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it. Are you just trying to hit one of the ordinary-looking guys, or one of the more impressive-looking ones?
I'll try and hit the one that Thalio hit. That's 12 with fear.
That hits.
D6 plus 1, 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. You see that guy who is down and was trying to get up and crawl towards the crystal that he got down. You just you see him get a hand on the crystal and then he just goes limp. And you see one guy turn around and start heading towards the crystal to pick it up themselves. But you've taken out one for sure, and one of them has had to stall and fall behind as the rest of them are escaping.
Should kill him, right, Chalice?
I said don't kill him!
I'm going to use
okay.
Fear to interrupt and another to add 2 additional action tokens, as the ones with swords that are around Chardonnay are gonna. They just saw Chardonnay murder one of their friends. Are just gonna surround Chardonnay and just make a group attack on Chardonnay. So that's gonna be 3 sword swings at you as 1 attack roll. That is only a 7.
Do to interrupt or anything like
That's
that.
What's your evasion?
12.
12. So you just like dive down into the bushes and they're just hacking away at bushes, trying to desperately find you. And you're just...
At that point, I'm like, oh hell no! And can I?
Yeah, go for it. That's
If
okay.
Saranay doesn't want to do anything, charge forward and attempt to
I've arrived on this. Yeah. I've arrived on the scene at this point. Just
I grace you with
what
my
am I doing?
presence.
How many sort of like things can we do per turn? Because I'm
As
ready.
you can keep going.
Oh, why
it
don't
would-
we-
It's basically keep going until you fail and I interrupt.
But
Oh,
also
yeah.
make sure that everyone gets a go type thing.
You know,
It's a balance.
yeah.
It's
In-
feed
in
in,
response
so the
to them-
premises feed into the narrative. Just keep doing stuff cool and makes a interesting movie.
Yeah, in response to the them trying to kill Chardonnay, however, my cold-blooded nature's like, oh wait, no, and I'm going to charge forward and make a whirlwind attack against them,
Oh,
which
go
is
for it.
a 16 with fear, which is still a success, I believe.
Yes, yeah, that hits.
You must have spent a hope to use that roll against, I'll spend a hope to make that the same roll against all other enemies in the area.
Go for it.
And
All
I'm
of
going
them?
to mockingly call out, "Yes, don't kill them! Oh no!"
I look back with like a cold-blooded bloodlust in my eye. Like, I was like, the axe comes down upon him. Like,
Yeah, what was the damage?
it was 6 + 1, 7. Every other enemy, any additional enemies succeed take half damage. So 3, 4, whatever it is, rounded up 4.
So what do I need to do for the succeed?
They just a whirlwind just makes the same attack against all other targets in the same range, but they take half damage, rounded up to 4.
Cool. You swing the axe through, and you just feel rib break, like clavicle, rib, sternum. The guy just collapses, and you carry on that momentum and just poof, body 2 more, who just go scattering like bowling pins out and do not
I
get
kind
back
of
up.
roll my shoulder so my shell like just go poof into them, and like.
That just leaves the 2 with javelins, who I am going to use fear to interrupt, and the last remaining fear I had to let them act. They are going to just continue to like harry you and move about and try and slow you down. So 1 javelin is going to be thrown at Herbert, and 1 at Chalice, who they just saw butcher people. So at Herbie, that is a 16 against your evasion, with 6 physical damage to Herbie, and that is a 17 against Chalice
Realize my armor is actually higher than I thought it was.
for 6 physical damage.
You know what? I've got a lot of health. I'll take a health.
Cool. And they continue to like keep their distance from you, so they're just constantly like at a far distance from the lot of you. But they are aware that the chaff that was like the blockers are all dead. What I will use the last action token on the thing for is the ones who have the crystals disappear into the woods and are out of sight at this point. They essentially have full cover, except for the one guy who's trying to pick up the crystal from the guy that you already killed. That guy's still there. I just like he's seen everything that's going on and is panicking. But it's over to you
Guess
guys.
who's going to get an arrow in the
this point.
face?
My wings are just going to slowly unfurl outwards to take to the air.
Yeah.
And let's look. The one that is cowering on the ground, I think.
Yeah, he's at quite a distance
So-
from you.
I can hit up to far as I reach into
You
my
can move that, yeah.
like fluff, my mane, and just continue to just pull out a long staff,
Why not go?
apparently made of carapace. It's a dual staff. And yes, I would like to magically
Yeah, go for it. Make your attack roll,
get on
man.
the ground. And I'm going to. When is it that I spend hope?
So hope can be used to get an experience to add to the roll if you have a relevant experience.
I'm going to do that then. If I can use the experience, ruthlessness is mercy.
I think it fits.
Which gives me another +2, so this is +4 overall.
Gotcha.
Which I'm glad I had. 18 with hope.
18 with hope hits.
Sweet. D6 +3. 6 +3. 9.
What does it look like as you murder this man?
So bring up the staff and just swing it downwards. And as it goes, a sort of jet black, knife, basically, just forms into a, long spike that just...
Yeah, he's, reaching down for this, gently pulsing crystal and
It just breaks apart into, many, many, many knives.
He is lying over the crystal now, but not getting up, and probably won't ever. There are still the 2 javelin throwers that are harrying you. What do the rest of you do?
I'm going to put an arrow in one of them.
Go for it.
Making myself a target, really.
Cool. Make me a presence roll to see whether you can draw that fire.
Ooh.
12 with hope.
12 with hope just hits.
13 with fear.
Yeah, they definitely see you. You're the guy who's killed most of their friends, and are just readying to throw javelins at you as one of them gets whacked by an arrow.
So instead of taking a hope, because that'll put me on 5, and I really don't need that many right now, I'm going to do Call of the Slayer, which gives me, I get to add a d6 to my damage.
Go for it. That sounds awesome.
Yes. I only get one of these at the moment, and I can only do it.
These guys have been largely left unharmed, so this is a good...
I'm going to re-roll both of the damage die, because it was a 1 and a 2, and I have the ability of not good enough where I get to re-roll 1s and 2s on damage dice.
Sick.
4, so 12 points of damage in total, because a +4 for my longbow.
Which is their severe. They don't have any armor. So, as it's Chalice, what do you do to draw their attention? What do you do to
I'm
draw
kind
their
of
fire?
just stood there, smashing my axe into my shield.
This completely draws their attention, and as one of them pulls up a javelin ready to throw at you, just a perfect longbow shot just goes straight under the armpit and just through the heart.
Yeah.
Just-
as I see him drawing back, I'm just look over there.
but there's still no failures, so the rest of you can keep going.
Are there any particularly mean ones that don't look like they've had enough damage?
There's literally one left right now.
There's
and
one guy with a
I'm
javelin.
strongly considering running away.
Well, is there foliagey, grassy kind of thing between me and him?
Yeah, this whole place is like a fern field with then these solar capture moments in between. So you can just
Yeah. Is there anyone next to him? My allies of mine.
Not right now, unless anyone wants to head over there. I mean, it's pretty fluid.
Yeah, I'll basically fly down towards him.
Cool.
And I'll advance with you,
If I have an ally within melee range of my target, I can add a d6 to my damage roll, and when I use this, I may also spend any number of hope before the attack roll, and if it's successful, add that number of d6 to the attack.
What I will say, just this is perfectly fine. This will happen. I just need Chalice and Zarane to roll me agility checks because they were at a far distance from you. So this is your ability to cover that distance in a rapid time.
I'm at -1 for that.
Plus
Can I
0.
spend hope for bonuses again? Sorry, I don't know where it works.
Depends what your experience is, but probably.
Okay, probably not then. So ruthless, unless I can leave a ruthless.
I don't think ruthless is in that.
I could maybe argue that my sentinel of the Marang River Basin is,
I don't think that helps
steady.
I don't think that helps you cover a large distance in a short amount of time.
12 with fear.
12 with fear. Yeah, that is enough.
17 with hope.
17 with hope. So both of you do get there as the Chardonnay just erupts from the ferns. As this guy's
as I descend, I'd just like to be like, now perhaps you'd like to tell us what you would do.
Yeah, just from above,
torn out.
a shadowy moth, a giant boulder running towards him. He's just like completely distracted and then shut.
Now, perhaps you would like to tell us what you were doing. Oh,
Shut. Roll your to hit and damage and everything. I will consider this having advantage with those 2 rolls, so you can add a d6 to whatever you roll.
Yeah, we've not yet played long enough for me to know how many hit points that guy might have. I have not built
I can tell you
how overclocking are you doing?
Because it's the end of combat, I will tell you he has 3 HP, but I will not tell you what his damage thresholds are.
Or we know what the severe is.
So the damage threshold I can't do anything about, I think. I mean, does this count as fake until you make it? No. Okay, never mind.
Right, guys, you've got a d6 because these 2 are so distracting that he has no idea you're there. And also your to hit.
Is to the damage roll.
No, so you've got a d6 to your hit as well because of these 2 helping. The d6 in this is advantage to use D&D parlance.
That is quite a lot. That is 18.
With hope or fear?
With fear.
Cool. I mean, I can't use it in this combat because I don't think he's going to live.
He's about to die.
Roll your damage. That definitely hits.
Awesome. That's a d8 plus a d6. 11.
D8, D6 is 11. Severe threshold is 9. Finish it.
Finish him. I think that'll be another stab through the groin.
Completely distracted and shunning. Just a blur of goblin and demon. Just up and then
perhaps you would like to tell us what it is you've been doing. Oh my god!
It's so lethal that genuinely it's halfway through the leg as well, and that just the body just totters, and then like just folds in a wrong at the groin spot and just collapses into the floor. And there's just blood pooling.
I could have questioned that one.
Is there not still the one running away?
Yeah, God.
I will actually say this. This is what I was going to use one of those fear for. What you do notice as you turn around is the one who seemed to be the leader just briefly step out of the forest, throw the body of her dead compatriot, lackey, off the crystal, grab it, and just sprint. Now, with this fear is they are then gone. You are distracted by that moment, and then quiet settles as the wind gusts around.
Well, all right then. And yeah, I did say try not to kill them, but the moment they started trying to kill us,
Gave up on that plan.
all bets are off at that point. Well, that was strange. Are there any people around here who might know what the fuck's going on?
Well, no, we sort of killed them all.
No, not them. I mean the people that own the farm.
At this point, you see the fungal woman who was wounded come back round the corner timidly. She's like, "Are they done? Are they gone?"
Yeah, they're gone. Took a bunch of your crystals with
They
them.
took some of it.
Well, first of all, thank you for helping and saving some of them. You take a brief look around, and of the about dozen or so of these solar collectors, 7 of them still seem to be functional, but about just under half of them are broken, damaged, and the crystal's gone.
Can I have a look around for any shards or anything that they've left?
What, shards of the crystals?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Roll me instinct.
While that's happening, I'd like to ask, so who were these people? Why are they trying to steal your crystals?
Honestly, I've got no idea. It's the first time I've seen them. I mean, solar crystals, obviously extremely useful. We got a pretty good farm set up here. It's going to be problematic in town tonight.
Is she telling the truth? I say out loud.
Roll me a knowledge. Instinct.
Why would you ask that? Why would you ask me that?
Herbie, what do you roll?
If I want to add my experiences, do I have to spend a hope to do so?
Yeah.
Okay. Then a 10 with fear.
10 with fear. You start taking a look around. There aren't any shards of the crystal around, but you can head over to the damaged collectors and see that they were taken out not with care or attention. They were essentially just smashed and broken out, which will tell you that this wasn't a delicate job. So
A ram raid.
yeah,
I got a 12 with hope.
12 with hope. She is genuinely has no idea who these people are, but you feel like I think she's assuming that you understand like what solar crystals are, and maybe you've come to the point of like, maybe you don't have them on the ship,
and I know what crystals are.
Yeah. It's like, solar crystals allow us to capture the sun's energy and then use it when the sun's not around. So we use it for heating the houses during the evening or cooking or that kind of. Sorry, I thought it was fairly common, but I suppose it's not on your ship. I do apologise.
I was born in a cave.
They're not super rare in this area, but we do have some of the larger ones that I know of.
Listening to this, Herbie's started like skinning the fish and trying to use the shiny reflective scales to like try and rebuild what he can. With
Make me a tinker check. Make me a finesse roll. You'll get something.
17 with hope.
Yeah, one of them's had the dish pretty badly damaged, and you essentially jerry-rig it such that if a crystal went back in there, it would probably do a job.
I contemplate telling him, like, over time that's going to shrink because it's...
Yeah, there's the probably slight smell of cooking fish in the bright light.
I'm not telling him that. If nobody's got anything else they want... Oh.
I was just saying, could I see if there is a short sword or dagger or something on any of the bodies?
Yeah, that's fairly easy. They were wielding them against you.
Cool. Then I will grab one of their short swords.
It's not great quality. It's clearly like seen a lot of use. I'll tell you what. Roll me a knowledge check.
Will this count as a broadsword?
No, broadsword. I think in this context is more like a dual hander. This is just a thick.
Broadswords are one-handed. Yes.
Are they?
They're agility weapons.
Then yeah, let's go with that.
8 plus 3.
No, it's technically a longsword. Sorry.
11 with hope.
11 with hope. You take a look at this. You've spent some time around, and you've dealt with soldier types. The level of wear on this implies that it is not a ad hoc soldier, shall we say? Like, this has seen a lot of use. And while it's been kept up to maintain through that long use, you would assume that this is probably like a genuine like mercenary soldier guard's weapon rather than like a bandit's. Look, I don't want to ask more of you, but you seem more than capable, and to be honest, we had just about enough crystals to maintain the town. Any chance you could try getting them back?
Well, I mean, they've gone now, so I mean, it doesn't really seem like our thing, does it, people?
Well, hold on. I sort of...
More than happy to.
I turn him around, like, put my hand over his carapace, and like, do I need to explain to you again how the concept of working for money works? We do them a service, they will pay us for it.
Man, this is the sort of thing you people do.
Why are you on this adventure? What are you here for? You don't like working and you don't like us. What are you here for?
I like you.
You do?
I never said I didn't like you.
Oh. I don't like you. I like turn around.
Why not? I'm wonderful.
Sure. Would you happen to know where I pick up Chardonnay and put them back on my shoulders? Like, where are we going?
Literally anywhere.
Would you know where literally anywhere is?
Literally.
You've got to word things better around me. You know this.
I mean, she kind of like vaguely gestures around, and you can see like this area is clearly kind of untouched by industrialization. You're far out from where Babylon Risen is, where you can see tall, like spiny mountain range to the northwest, and then like there it kind of curves around the entire western horizon, where there is like a small channel in between that leads to the other side of the isle, and then continues on further south. Depends where you're traveling to, I suppose.
Sorry, that's what I meant when I was talking to my friend here. Where are we going? Where is the place that the bird told you?
Eterica.
The Jericho.
Denerica.
America.
America. I'm going home.
Well, hold on, fellas.
Do you mean Eterica?
Sure.
Eterica.
What did you say?
Eterica is towards the mountains.
Oh.
And points
Is that-
not in the direction that those lot went.
Oh, god dang.
Those lot went in a forest directly north that hugged the coastline.
I like pull out a very like worn map and like put it down. It's like, right, so that's the way that the thing went. That's where we need to go for the with the shipment of wine, and that's the direction that they went in. Well, which one's the closest of the three?
Probably the bandits who are still running from us.
Good point. Probably catch him actually.
Do you start chasing? Start Aragorn and Gimli.
He just starts running. He's like,
Chardonnay, you got like grip onto the shell. Do you all follow, or just leave Chalice Chardonnay to this?
Well, I suppose
We'll be back when we
done.
find them. I tell her, and then I follow.
I suppose if we're going to get this done, we should do it before it gets dark.
we're in the forest now, and that's where I shine.
Herbie, leave that thing alone. Let's go.
Right. Can I have?
Why is there a fish in it?
We're gonna make.
It's shiny. That's what the woman said. It shines and it makes everything hot.
Fish don't typically do that.
Like fish.
Can I have someone? I'm assuming Chalice is you're heading off on this first of all to lead a instinct roll to navigate.
Yeah.
Everyone else will make it a group check. How are you helping Chalice track down these bandits?
I am going to fly above the tree line and see if there's any sort of movement or any signs of like a campfire smoke, etc.
Cool, go for it. Make me an instinct roll. We'll call this, because you're trying to see through trees, it's quite a hard DC, we'll call it 16.
Well, that's a 23 with fear. I rolled a 12 on the fear and an 11 on the hope.
Hooray!
Fear bank is filling up. I love it.
Is that anything for rolling max on the fear?
That's a good point, there's a group check. I don't get fear.
Not yet.
Ah.
Did you roll doubles?
I rolled a 12 and an 11.
Then no, you need doubles.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah, crits are a thing, aren't they?
crits are a thing if you roll doubles. So yeah, you're going through and you're looking for movement. You don't see anything immediate through the forest, but what you do spot as you get high enough is you spot what looks like people leaving the forest on the far north side. So the main thing you can shout down is just head north.
Head north, there are some people running away.
Thank you, it's where I was heading anyway.
I know, keep going.
Chardonnay, what are you doing to help as you're bouncing along on this turtle's shoulder?
So I have very big ears, which will probably help hear maybe where screaming is coming from.
Are they yours?
And I don't know whether this will be allowed, but originally when we were talking about my experience, one of mine is grave robbing, and you said anything that I think I could have learnt from grave robbing I could apply to other things.
If you can compare it.
Yeah, exactly. Listening out was a key skill I developed when illegally pilfering graves.
I'll give you it for now. You've caught me on a good day.
Yay!
While that's being rolled, Thalio, Herbie, anything?
I will be keeping an eye out on the ground to see if there's any tracks, any clothing or anything caught in stuff.
Make me a knowledge roll to analyse the tracks.
I don't think Herbie would be doing anything particularly useful. He'd probably just be picking up a couple of like sticks on the way.
That's
to
fine.
do
You don't
some
have to
carving
help if
later.
you don't want to. Following along, I love it. Chardonnay, what did you roll?
Only a 6. That is with hope,
Well, at least you
finally.
get the hope. But that
Yay!
unfortunately, you are too far behind them to pick up any sound of them running, and so you are unable to provide Chalice with any additional aid. And if anything, are a little distracting because your ears occasionally flap across his eyes. They're like radaring.
just picking up the sounds of just.
Thalio.
Double 12.
Hey, crit. That means stuff.
That does mean stuff. You immediately get a hope for a start.
Things happen.
And following these tracks, you very clearly you get some additional information out. There are a fair number of them, which you did already know, but you get like a decent estimation of their numbers of the group that's running away. There's probably in like the 10 or so people running away, so it's a fairly large group. You don't know whether this is all of them or just the group that did the raiding party, but you've got a strong group of that. You also, from that, get an understanding that one of them is a big bruiser, like a heavier set person that's a little like more muscle bound and stronger than the kind of people you were carrying. And the last thing you pick up is something that did get dropped, is a small badge that's clearly like a pin or something that's stuck onto a belt, and you can see that it's got a two-fanged maw with a trident pointing downwards through it.
Do I recognise it at all?
It is a well-known mercenary symbol of a mercenary company that do roam the seas around here, especially. They're known that they are seaborne mercenary company. I'll let you come up with a name based on that logo.
Tri-fangs.
What was that? I heard fangs. Tri-fangs. Love it.
Do they have a good or a bad reputation?
What, as being, well, they will take any job they're paid for, so they're not necessarily the most upstanding individuals. In terms of their quality, they're decent.
Italy.
Yeah. They're not upstanding. But with that, Chalice, with that knowledge of like what you're tracking, what direction, you have a +2 to this roll because of the crit, and then a success.
Yes. Got another +1 from my instinct.
Am I able to give him any additional aid?
You've done that with your roll already.
I wasn't sure. I've got hope to use. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I don't suppose any of my experiences or anything.
I don't know what your experience is.
Inexperience. So it's not like my experience. Basically, I didn't know what I was really doing when I wrote my experiences. But essentially, my background is that of a forest guardian, used to moving, quietly through the woods and then appearing to attack poachers and things.
So yeah, I mean,
trees.
Your background of the guardian of, I can't remember the full name of it.
The Marang River Basin.
The Marang River Basin would fit here in that you're someone that treks through forests and stuff like that.
Cool. So I spend
They're in the goddamn trees.
Spend a hope, and then you get that bonus.
What's the bonus? Is it +1?
It's +1 or +2. It depends which one you made a +1 and which one you made a +2.
Didn't know I was meant to do that.
I think that one it would be your +2. It's like the most defining
element of you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll put a little note there. Cool. So +4.
We will call this. We'll call this. We'll honour the crit, and we'll call this a 14.
Cool. Yeah, that's 9 +2 +5.
With hope.
16. With hope. Yeah.
With hope. Sick. You make great time. While you gave them a bit of time with your investigation around the solar farm and the like. You make excellent time through the forest. You're not slowed down, while these lots seem to be a little bit because they're not as accustomed to this place. And you eventually come bursting out of the forest and you finish on a rise, which looks down on a small cove where you immediately tell everyone to stop. And you look down upon this cove and you can see docked out into this natural harbour are 3 sailing vessels moored together, relatively tight. Each one sailed down, essentially fully docked, and a small encampment on the shore with a number of tents that also bear the symbol of the Tri-Fangs.
God damn, you were right. There were boats.
Yeah, so it's clear that A, you can see them just arriving in their camp, the ones that you were chasing. It's about maybe like half a mile from you to get down to the encampment itself. It is up to you what you do.
Does it look like they're gearing up to leave, or are they taking their time?
Roll me a whatever check. I haven't memorized things yet. Instinct to perceive.
I mean, you, our game master, have not learned every single rule of every part of this game.
I mean, it's more embarrassing that I can't remember the 6 ability scores, but yeah.
Well, I rolled with hope, but it was a 5 plus 1, 6.
6. It's hard to tell. There's an encampment down there that, as I said, the sails are stowed on the ships, but that may just be they haven't issued the order to leave yet.
They're not leaving immediately, I can tell, but that's it.
Yeah. Like, they're not, in this moment, jumping on the rowing boats out to the big boats.
Does it look like the ones that we fought and saw running away in the sort of 10 to 20 range were how big are the ships? What kind of crew would we expect of them?
You can roll me either knowledge to analyze or instinct to perceive. Your choice.
Instinct, please.
Go for it.
And I
That's an 8 with fear. I mean, I don't know. And then I just turned to Thalia. How many people can we expect on those ships?
Thalia, you can roll me a knowledge check if you wish.
I need to be able to spend my hope. I have 6.
I was going to say you can use your hope on Sailor because it's ships stuff.
I can use it now, but I'm just going to use them. I will use Sailor. That is a double 5.
That's correct. That's a total success.
For 10 plus 2, 12.
Correct.
I haven't rolled with fear yet. I'm slightly worried.
I've got a decent bank of fear at the minute.
Yeah, that's why I'm worried.
Which I will use in a second, actually. Yeah, you take a look out. Based on those ships, 2 things you get with that roll. A, those ships, they wouldn't be unmanned right now. Like, you would leave a skeleton crew on all of them, which means each one is probably about a third stacked currently, with the rest of the people in the encampment. By your estimation, therefore, based on that, you would say that there are at least 30 people in that encampment, if not more. With that assessment, it is probably a bad idea to storm the camp. But there might be other options available to you.
Well, we're looking at more than 2 score.
More than 2?
I land.
At that
Score
point,
20.
as you land, Chalice... not Chalice, sorry.
Hit by a cannonball.
Zarane. You do notice that at that point, as Chalice lands, whether by crook or by hook, you see that the sails on the 3 ships begin to unfurl.
They're making a run for it.
Now, you know ships do take time to prepare from being fully docked, so you have time, but you don't have a lot.
Sorry, so is the camp separate to the boat itself?
Yeah, so the camps are on shore, then partway out into this natural cove are the 3 ships. But you can see that those ships appear to now be getting ready to leave.
Would I have been able to work out roughly how many would have been on each boat?
Probably in full, a crew in the 20s to 30s on each ship. And each ship would have around probably a dozen currently on them.
My god, they're millennials.
Can I use my nomadic pack and spend 1 hope to pull out something useful as dictated by the DM?
Torpedo.
Depth charge.
The nomadic torpedo.
The Archimedes death ray. Yes, of course you can.
One giant mirror to start burning the sails.
What do you want to put
Yeah,
out?
at night.
It's not. It's the
I
middle of the
think,
day.
I think it's dictated by the DM.
Is it? Surely it must be that you decide what you want to
pick
put
an
out.
item that makes sense to the DM.
Yeah, you can draw an item that I just don't veto, basically. So it just depends what you want.
I think you can draw an item if you can make the case for it being
Work with the GM to figure out what this item is.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's-
that's what it was.
Archimedes
What do
death ray.
you want in this situation? Ellie's entered
Torpedo.
bargaining mode. You're not having a torpedo.
Torpedo adjacent.
Why do we even play these games?
What you want is a 81mm mortar.
I will give you.
With
I will give
incendiary.
you, out of the kindness of my heart, a flask of alchemist's fire.
14-inch naval gun.
GPMG on a
Great
tripod.
shot.
That's the ancestral weapon of my people.
That's 20-foot-long tungsten rod we can drop from orbit.
Do I think that someone has something to throw alchemist's fire with? Like, would it be better?
Shella just got large arm muscles. You cannot throw alchemist fire that far to the ships. To the camp,
Okay.
from the height you're at, yes. I think with that arc, the ships are too far.
Can I reach into your wonder bone pack and pull out a sling?
Well, I've got-
Do you have any old rags, clothing, the like?
No,
No, look at me.
I pull off a bit of my loincloth.
Oh God!
To be honest, there's nothing there underneath it.
Kendall.
It's just a Ken doll.
We get spawned in great like pools.
You have a rag.
This is just to make
cool.
other
I'm gonna
people
bring
feel
out-
more comfortable. To be honest.
I'm
That's
gonna
more about you
turn
than I
it
ever wanted
into
to know.
strips to be able to tie it around as many hours as possible.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you now, setting
Have
a
my
ship on
loincloth
fire,
ready.
even with 4 flaming arrows and a flask of alchemist fire, hard. To set 3 on
With-
fire, impossible.
Yes,
With a
I
full
agree.
crew of people on board,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
I agree. It would be impossible to set all 3 ships on fire.
What are you guys doing? I don't know what you're trying to do.
You've
You've been tasked to get
go.
crystals back, and currently you're planning on angering an ant's nest. So I want to be sure.
I'm ready to take on at least one of those ships. 2 at a push. 3, maybe
Herbie.
that's too many for us.
Herbie, I have a
My
job
plan-
for you.
My plan
Are we going fishing
is to
again?
set the sails on fire.
Not quite.
They
More-
can't leave if they don't have any power.
More hunting.
Right.
Remember those nice
What
pretty...
sorts of fish?
The brick kind, the sort of stone ones that you tried to replace with the fish.
Right.
What?
I want you to scuttle your way down there and see if you can find where they might be keeping the stones.
On
Absolutely.
those ships.
They
Well, that's
haven't
the-
made it to the ships yet. You literally saw the ones who were running with the crystals reach the camp. And then
Because
So
the
I
ship
thought you
said
meant
they
to
can't-
get ready.
I thought you
It's
meant
less
they
likely.
laid sail and were about to set
no.
push off.
As I said, all that happened is once you got to the top of that, is you saw these ships starting to get ready. They've still got to get the camp down, get out to the ships, and everything.
It's going to take them a while.
Yeah,
so I
you've got a
want
few
you to
hours. I'm just saying you
scuttle
don't all
along.
day.
Oh,
And
we
see
got a
if you
few
can
hours. I
find-
thought you meant like we've got like
You've got-
minutes
No.
to run down there and do something.
You've got like a couple of hours for them to break down the camp and everything.
So scuttle down
Right, okay.
and see if you can find where they're keeping the crystals. Attaboy.
So, Herbie starts wandering off. Trying to
Chardonnay, would you like to go with
keep to the
your-
shadows.
Yes, I would. I
Cool.
would like to. Ah,
I'm surprisingly good at being stealthy.
He actually is.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if I could use. Hang on, I need to reread it again to make sure I'm not making things up. What would you say is within far range?
The camp is currently very far distance from you. So you'd have to get closer to the camp than current.
So I have a thing called Nightwalker,
Mhm.
and I can move from shadow to shadow within far range by marking off a stress, which seems to me like, can that be used to teleport to different shadows?
Yep.
Awesome. I would like to do that. I'd like to get closer. I presume I can get within far range without them knowing I'm there, and then teleport into the shadows of one of their tents, and then I don't actually know what I would do when I was there.
Appear
think
in a shadowy tent above someone that's like waking up for what's like.
That's perfectly fine. You can do that. You scuttle down from the lip that you're at and find the rocks at the bottom of the cliff that give you some shadow from the sun, where you can then like spot a tent to go over there. What I do need you to do is make me a finesse roll. This is essentially you trying to hide, and it basically is going to determine what tent you end up in.
Do I get a grave robbing or fake it till you make it for this?
I think grave robbing could apply here. You could use this
Okay.
teleport to get around grave robbing without being spotted. if you want to use a
Yeah.
hope.
It's grave robbing time.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I have to cross off a hope to use experience.
Correct, yeah.
We get
and-
That means
That's well spent.
is that even if it doesn't work?
Yes. But, I mean, ultimately, if provided you keep doing skill checks, you'll get your hope back anyway, so...
I know. It's just that I've only got one hope so far, and I already spent it.
Hope is there to be spent.
Yeah.
Grave
Okay.
rob.
So you
Oh,
have
yes.
one. So you have one hope
Fire.
currently. It's up to you.
One left.
It is entirely up to you.
Right.
You might roll
Sorry,
with
I'm-
hope and get a
I was
thing.
trying to remember where you used hope
Alright.
before.
Let's see. I did.
Hey.
Roll is rubbish.
Was it
Excellent.
8.
plus
I
your
think it's
finesse?
only 8. My finesse is 1, and
Okay, so
grave
9.
robbing gives me another 2, and
So
I
11?
only rolled. Sorry?
Oh wait, so you rolled a 6 on the die total, did you?
No, I rolled a 5 in total.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
You did roll with hope, which does help you out somewhat. You
It
jump.
doesn't go as wrong.
Yes, you get something beneficial. The problem is where the room that you ended up in. You jump into a tent that looks the most interesting to you, emblazoned with the Tri-Fangs symbol. And you jump into the shadows, and you do appear behind a bunch of crates at the back. You are not instantly exposed. And you see that these crates all have a logo on them of a tower with 3 sharp kind of blades at the top. 2 other things while you're in here. Actually, no. That's what you get. The other thing you do here is you hear the same voice as the person who told the ones to stay behind, clearly the leader. It's like, get those crystals packed away, we'll be off within an hour. Get them back to the ship.
Interesting. Back within the hour.
Packed within the hour,
There
to be
is-
clear. So they'll be gone within an
Oh,
hour.
okay, I misheard that.
Yeah.
If only I had included in my backstory that I had included some sort of hand signals with my good friend Jealous.
I think if you go like, you'll go.
Remember the secret signal.
I think you go.
Turtles famously have terrible vision, so
How many are there down here
That rubbish
Like-
pile is moving.
at the moment?
Quite a lot. In this tent, you can make out 3 people in this tent.
Are there any other tents that I could
Yeah.
sidle over to where there's maybe only one person that I could stab and then
Yeah.
sidle to another one?
Where's Herbie going during this?
Yeah, good point.
He's climbing down, I guess, the cliff, or well, any sort of hill that I guess there is.
Yeah,
towards
you would have been with Chardonnay into the rocks, and the Chardonnay would have just disappeared. And you were like looking at it like, that's a far distance to cover.
sure, I'm glad we're doing this together. Oh,
What do you want to do?
Just try and sneak / climb my way towards the
Tents? Sure, make me a high check.
So the tents, yeah.
Finesse.
12 with fear.
12 with fear. Okay. That is a success. You do see some varying ones patrolling around, and you hear from inside. I'm going to immediately use that fear, actually. From inside, just the same voice that, again, you'll hear is like, right, start packing down the tents. We're going to be heading off within the hour. Let's get away. We got what we came here for. Let's get back. Keep an eye out in case those idiots start chasing us. And you just start people starting to take down tents.
Okay. I'd like to get somewhere where either inside a tent or next to a stack of boxes next to a tent where I can pick off one person at a time.
You're trying to Assassin's Creed your way through 40 odd people.
I was going to try and do the same from the other direction. And I want to look like a
Creed
vaguely.
giant turtle.
I want to sit down and look like a rock, and then like he tries to whistle, and he realizes with his reptilian mouth he can't whistle. He's like,
You
Just
can
picks up a rock and throws it.
certainly try. I need you both to make me finesse rolls to hide. The difficulty is high. We are talking.
Time.
Yeah, we're talking
to
20.
whistle.
This is hard. This is a
No,
20
I'm just-
DC.
I'm just doing Overwatch up the top, so I'm just keeping an eye to see if somebody notices
Sick.
them, and then I'm going to loosen an arrow.
Time to whistle.
Does the advantage count towards the hope die?
No, it's to the total. And
In which
what
case,
do you have
it's a
advantage for?
I have advantage to move quietly.
Oh, sick. Cool. Yeah. that works.
Yeah. So that's 27 with fear.
Good to know. That is a success.
Sorry, yeah.
I've
So
erected a sort of deck chair, and I'm just sitting.
I would like
Yeah.
to use my final hope to also add my grave robbing thing again.
Okay.
I roll with hope.
What is this finesse, did you say?
Yeah, it's still finesse. You're still trying to hide.
Come on. Okay. Well, that's not 20.
Okay. Was it a hope at least?
Yes, it's hope. It's 13?
13 with hope. That is a failure. So,
Yes.
this is what happens. Chalice, you managed to get within close of the camp. Okay? We're doing the whole Boulder stands up, walks, sits down, stands up. Approach.
I uproot a bush and take it with me.
Meanwhile, Herbie, you've been sneaking along, confused by this rock that keeps moving, but it does seem to be getting closer and hiding you from everyone else, so you're just like...
You keep trying to hide behind the rock,
hiding
but the
behind
rock
that
keeps
rock.
moving.
Unfortunately, what happens is, as we use that fear, Chardonnay breaks out and attempts to rush towards the most dangerous-looking individual. A large man. Actually, no, this is a good point. This is what this is you approach, like, you see the large silhouette outside a tent you were in, and you go, perfect target, and you strike out, and what you actually find is a crystal serpent with a head the size of you, and behind it is leaving this glass shard trail, and you step out onto that and instinctively let out a yelp, and the thing turns around and just grabs you by the scruff of the neck and pulls you up. And you are now currently restrained, and you lot hear the yelp that you can only recognise as Chardonnay as, Chardonnay's been captured.
Whoopsie.
Good signal. Chardonnay's giving the signal.
The secret signal is, I've been captured.
Help, I have been captured.
Well, I did say if I saw anyone spot them, I was going to loosen an arrow.
I'm actually going to do something annoying to the lot of you there. And end the session with Chardonnay captured. Approaching Chardonnay is a mercenary in form-fitting, thick but scarred leathers. A gauntlet around their hand with a gently pulsing solar gem in the center. And a long sword with a matching gem in the pommel just approaches you and just goes, this is a shame that you decided to follow us, but can't exactly be leaving witnesses now, can we? You should have just let us take the crystals, dearie. And that is where we will pick up with Daggerheart in another episode later. But until we rejoin the crew of the Flying Bat, I guess we'll have to wait to see what happens next time. But until then, see you later.